Sorrel. Welcome to Andrea's Amateur Urban Homestead. Today we're going to do a spring garden tour. So the garden has expanded a lot from last year. It was a big COVID project and it's going to expand even more this year.
Yeah.
Right now, is our garden going to grow?
Mm-hmm.
What are you eating?
I mean, the desert here.
Yeah, is it yummy?
Mm.
Do you remember what it started as? How did we start growing it?
From the water.
Yeah, it needed water. We grew it from seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else do you like in the garden? Oh, so those are our big plans for this year. Lots of soil and mulch. So this is a circular garden. It actually used to be a tire garden. It used to be just a bunch of tires. But last year took those away and just lined it with some rocks. So right now,
I saw some little drips of rain.
you saw some little drips of rain?
Yeah.
What was the weather today like?
Sunny.
It's sunny now, but what was it like earlier today?
Rainy.
Yeah, it was rainy earlier today. So a fun thing that I love to grow that Forrest loves is called sorrel. So this is sorrel and it's a perennial, so it'll grow back every year. And these were grown from seed last year and then just planted this year. Sorrel tastes kind of lemony and you can use it to add to salads, but we just like eating it straight from the garden. So this is my little sorrel patch right here. And these are what's called Grand Rapids lettuce. And these were all grown from seeds too. So this was my first year also trying to grow some stuff from seed. And the kale and the lettuce are what I grew from seed starting indoors and then hardening them off and putting them outdoors. So we have some lettuce. These are a bunch of red onions. This was just an easy purchase of like little bulbs from Home Depot. And then you put them in the ground and you can kind of see that they're gonna start to bulb up and out and they'll get bigger. I did kind of high density planting with these because I don't mind them being kind of small. Everything for me is a little bit of an experiment because it's just first time growing some stuff and second time growing other stuff. So what Forrest is currently eating is called Vates kale. So Vates kale is a really popular kind of a little bit wavy kale. And then the other one we have growing is dinosaur kale. And it's more long and it has a cool name. And then we have some parsley growing and just a bunch of marigolds planted around to be beneficial pollinators. So that is the circular garden. This part of the garden is the container garden. So these are all grow bags and they have their own purpose. I really like them because they're movable and so I can move them in the best location for light. And then also, while I don't know where some plants might go, I'll put them in a grow bag so they can get nice and big and then I can move them and plant them wherever. So in these two bags, I just planted some potatoes, some seed potatoes. This is a fig tree that I don't yet know where it's gonna go, given to me by a really good friend of mine, Missy. Some more sorrel in a chair, and a pretty plant. I'm not sure what this one's called. And then another good friend of mine, Amy, gave me some artichokes. So these have been growing indoors and I just planted them outdoors. They have a bit of sunburn that they got from the lights inside, but they have new growth that's looking good. So hopeful for those, they'll get pretty big. This is called Perpetual Rhubarb and it is a perennial type of rhubarb, really big in permaculture. So got that. It died over the winter and then has rebloomed. Looks awesome. These are some branches of Thornless Blackberries. I got all of these from my backyard neighbor, Carla, and they were just twigs and I didn't know where I was going to put them. So again, I put them in a grow bag. They're all growing really nicely, and so I will be able to plant them out more once I find a plan for that.
I found a stick.
You found a stick?
And it's hurty.
It's a hurdy stick?
And look.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful with it. Ooh, it's a big stick. Keep it towards the ground, okay?
Look, it's pointing the way.
It's pointing the way. Once again, these being used as some temporary locations for different things. I have 2 hydrangeas here that got dug up because we had some trees removed or bushes removed. So again, they're temporary spots, but they still have the ability to grow. Grow bags are really good for helping to aerate roots, which just means that their roots are able to dry out a bit more because they're just like felt everywhere. These are some purple potatoes that are starting to come up that I planted, and again, we'll just once the leaves get a little big, you cover them over with some more soil or mulch or soil, and then once it fills the bag, you just leave them and they will grow and flower, and then once they die back, you're supposed to be able to have a good amount of potatoes, which didn't happen last year. But I'm trying again. We'll see what happens. I also planted them at the wrong time. So this time I planted them in March, which is supposed to be the right time instead of before, which I planted in May or June. What are you eating, Forrest?
This,
What's that?
I don't know.
Let me see. Yes, you do. What is it?
It's sour.
It's sour.
It's
And how else does it taste?
sorrel.
It's sorrel. Yeah, it's lemony. These are really cool. This is Comfrey that's coming up in these 2 different bags. It's another perennial. It's a medicinal type of plant that you can add into a carrier oil. And it's really good for things like psoriasis or dry skin. You can make it into a salve. And I just got the bare roots last year and nothing really happened until this spring, and then they started coming up. So that is my little grow bag garden right here in some sun. But some of the things are temporary, so they'll be planted in other places. So this garden bed everything has been planted from seed and planted close-ish to the right time, which has made things work out. So we did it's DW lettuce right here, and this is called Grand Rapids lettuce. And I did high density planting on these. So what I can do is I can thin them out so that they are able to have more space to grow to full size, or I can also use them as cut and come again. So they're at a good spot right now that I could cut a fair amount and come again.
Want to put this? The rest are up. And the rest is
So
crazy.
these are radish. So with radish, you can eat the leaves, but they might not be that tasty. Some people make radish microgreens, and none of my radishes did good. I think I needed to do less high density planting with them. And so when I pull one out, you'll be able to see that no radish was able to be made, but the greens look nice and happy. So the greens are edible. They taste kind of radishy, and you can just put them in salads or, yeah, a bit of an aftertaste. What does the radish taste like to you? So right here, I sowed some carrots. So when you plant directly in the ground, it's called direct sow. So these little guys are popping up, and I'm probably going to put over them some hardware cloth because we have rabbits and they will want to take them out and eat them for themselves.
And our bunnies.
Yeah, we don't want the bunny to eat them. We want to be able to eat them. And then right here we have some peas on a little trellis. And these guys will keep growing on this trellis and get big, and then they'll make sugar snap peas that'll be super yummy. So I've done that in the past and they've been pretty prolific. And they're such a tasty treat. So on our property, we have a front yard garden, and it consists of 2 garden beds over here. This 3rd and 4th garden bed that my husband, he built all the garden beds out of cedar. And then this in-ground planted area and some grow bags and a circular garden. So that's what makes up our little amateur urban homestead so far. We're about to get a fence around our property because we have deer in the area, and the deer like to munch on anything that I put out. So it'll be really nice to have that this year. We have Spider-Man right here eating some sorrel. Oh no, you're eating some Bates kale. You're Forrest.
Flying high, where my love goes, I'm by his side.